today we're gonna dip into some backside disasters. So, first thing with backside disasters that we should go over is foot placement. You know, you want your front foot on your bolts because it's gonna pop up to your nose once you're on the coping on the backside disaster. And you want your back foot in the pocket right here for scooping. Let me tell you the reason for that. When you go up for a backside disaster, you're gonna wanna turn your shoulders a bit earlier before entering the coping. So when you're going up the coping, you lift up your front wheels before the coping. That's when you start turning your shoulders and scooping with your back foot in the pocket. So to go up for backside disaster, remember just turn your shoulders and scoop your foot, okay, and the back foot. And then once you want to have enough speed so you can clear your back tail going over the coping to land in the disaster. Once in the disaster, it's just like the front side disasters I taught you guys last time. It's you just got to put some pressure on that nose, lift up the back leg, and make sure you clear your wheels before the coping so you don't hang up. I told you some of the steps to backside disasters earlier. Make sure that you have enough speed when you're going up to the quarter pipe. You want your foot in that back pocket of your tail because you're going to want to lift up your board prior to the coping. You know, lift up your front trucks before the coping. You want to turn your shoulders, and you also want to turn before you're kind of going up to the quarter. And then you want to scoop with your back foot because it's going to be in that scoop position on the tail. And then once it's there, you're going to get into the back disaster. At that point, you want to stop turning your shoulders because your shoulders are going to keep turning and you're not trying to revert, you're not trying to go to fakie, and it's going to stop your momentum. So you want to stop your shoulders, keep them level with your board, with your feet this way, and then you want to just go into the transition. Put weight on your nose, lift up your back foot, boom, you got it, backside disaster. So let's do some. Let me show you guys what they're about. So with backside disasters, something I learned in time is when I started doing them, I would get up on the deck too much and my back wheels would be on the top and it would take me a minute to straighten out and get back into the coping or back into the transition. So something with that to learn speed on it. It's not doing it wrong that you do that, but in time you're gonna wanna do it faster. So in order to do it faster, you're gonna wanna lean into the transition more. Keep your shoulders more into the transition. You want your body weight more on the transition side than on the deck side. Because when you're more on the deck side, that's when you're gonna level out on the deck. You're gonna kind of reposition your feet and then go in. But if you don't want that break in between, you just wanna lean in. You wanna lean into the transition. And it'll be a bit of a fluent, you know, a fluent motion for the backside disaster. So let's keep doing some. You know, if you do start doing it on the deck, that's okay. It's just gonna help you get used to doing it faster, leaning into the transition. You know, I always say it in all my videos, and I think it works for me, so it should work for you guys. So just work your way up, you know, follow the steps and it will get better. So I'm gonna put a couple of slow-mo backside disasters on here so you guys can kind of watch my footwork, kind of watch the way my shoulders turn, and watch my body weight, because that all plays an important role in landing the trick. So again, you know, make sure you turn your shoulders prior to going up the quarter pipe. You want your foot in the back pocket right here. So you want the heel kind of hanging off the side, and you want your other front foot on the bolts right here. You're gonna wanna lift up before the coping. You start turning, you have to have enough speed to get your back tail over there. You land in disaster right here. That's when you stop rotating your shoulders so you don't revert. You wanna put weight on the front, on the nose right here. Put a lot of weight on there, enough so that you clear the coping. You have to bend up back leg to allow that back end of the board to come up. Clear the coping, and boom, back in the transition. You just did backside disaster. So just follow those steps, guys. You know, you might fall. You know, you just get back up and you keep doing it. You know, you just learn from what you did wrong. You know, I've hung up on a lot of backside disasters. That's the unfortunate part of backside disasters, but it is a fun and stylish trick, and you can do them anywhere. So wind up shoulders, lift up front wheels, scoop with back foot, turn shoulders, stop rotation of shoulders, straighten out back leg, put weight on front foot, lift up back leg, clear coping, land the backside disaster. Another cool thing with backside disasters is that it's kind of the same motion no matter where you do it, whether you do it on a big quarter pipe like that one or a little one like we just did. So we're gonna move it over to the bigger transition. Something you'll learn in time as well is it's easier to stay within the transition and make it a faster backside disaster when you're on a quarter pipe that has vert. So we're gonna move over to the vert section and keep doing these backside disasters. Here we go. Little tip for you guys, don't wear a vest like I'm wearing. Every time I'm coming in, I have this thing blocking my eyes. It's kind of scary. So try to wear clothes that aren't gonna fly up in your face, but maybe that's just me. I like vests. Another thing I want to tell you guys about backside disasters is once you get up over the coping, you know, you have your shoulders turned, you can kick out your back leg to kind of help stop your shoulders from rotating. It kind of puts your board in place. And then from there, you know, you just put weight on the nose and straight back into the transition. So, you know, putting out the back leg kind of helps stop that rotation of the shoulders, because I know it's kind of hard because you're already winding up for it. But, you know, by stopping that rotation of your shoulders, becoming parallel with your feet on the board, it's really going to help you, you know, make that disaster faster. You know, you're in charge of where your board goes, so, you know, you tell it where you want to go. Make that board your beep. So with backside disasters, I should probably talk about the falls, you know. Some falls that I would have is really just the hanging up, you know. If I don't put enough pressure on my nose to lift up when coming back into the transition, I got lazy. You know, you let your truck hang up on the coping, it's gonna be a pretty gnarly fall because you're already going backside, you're headed in, lead side, so on your shoulder, so it's gonna throw you to the ground. And usually, for most times, I'd say 99% of the time, hang-ups are unexpected, you know. We go for the trick thinking we got it, but we hang up. So it can turn into a slam, you know. Some of the best ways to get out of it is to tuck and roll. Try to avoid the slam, you know. It usually comes out into becoming a hipper. You get a really big bruise on your hip, puts you out for a few days, and we don't want that. We want to skate, you know. We want to skate all the time. So just try to lift up enough and avoid that hang up, you know. Don't get lazy with it. Don't let your board just roll back in. Make sure you put pressure on that nose so that you miss the coping, because, you know, you might go to some parks that have really thin coping or no coping and you don't have to lift up. You're not going to fall. But then you're gonna go to a park that has, you know, really large coping or pool coping, and you're gonna have to lift up your board every single time if you wanna get in. Otherwise, you're basically flirting with death. So, you know, always lift, you know, always put pressure on the front of on the nose and lift up that back end to clear the coping so you can go in. That's usually the main fall that comes with disasters. So I thought I'd tell you guys and you know, just try to avoid falling. But you guys got this, you can do it. The last part of backside disasters that I do want to get into is doing backside ollies into the disasters. You'll see people like Chris Russell, some of the top names out there, Pedro Barros, they'll do really big backside ollies and then disaster slap ride, and it's so gnarly. So we're gonna do a few of those. If you have backside ollies, this is a good way to really up your disasters. It's really all the same tips I described before, except you gotta do a backside ollie into it, and the disaster is going to be a lot faster. So, you know, the stopping of the shoulders, the putting weight on the front nose, lifting up the back leg, it's just all at a really, really high speed motion, creating a disaster slap. So we're going to do some backside ollie disasters to end out this video. But, you know, this is where you can take back disasters after you learn them, and then you can start grabbing them, flipping into them. You know, it really opens a lot of doors in skateboarding for yourself. So I hope you guys get it. I hope you guys got something from this video. Here we go. All right, guys, so that's backside ollie disasters for you. That's gonna close up our video today. So remember just to follow all the steps I showed you guys. You know, your shoulders play a big part, and you know, your foot placement does as well. Make sure you have your foot on that nose so you can re-entry back into the transition. But I hope you guys got something from this video. As always, much love. Thanks for supporting me. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, make my day. And next video is gonna be frontside ollie, so stay tuned for that. All right, guys, take care, have a great week. See you next week.